Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going through my team reveal for AFL Fantasy for round 21. Going through sort of thoughts around, I guess, trades. I haven't really been looking at trades too much this week, as I've sort of had two or three guys that I've considered taking out. And they're pretty much, it's a lot of sideways movement if I try and not get an upgrade out of McCarthy, who's the last designated sort of rookie guy on field. So yeah, it will be interesting to see the route that I end up going down. But anyway, let's jump into this video here. So as you can see here, the side as its current state, no trades in place. Tickle can stay for another week because they still have another week of the suspension for Sherry. Sorry, I almost forgot who it was. So he will be back next week, will Sherry, and then that'll probably lead to me potentially. Well, Cherry I don't really want because he'll have 3 games left after that. Briggs isn't the best matchup. He's got sort of 2 hard matchups, 1 easy matchup, which I don't think I'm going to want to trade into. But for this week, Tickle does have the St Kilda matchup where he could do really well in terms of hit outs. He could end up around about that 25-30 marker or so, given that they didn't play Heath last week, which will be interesting to see if they do this week. So that'll be interesting for Tickle. And then you've got basically the other potential upgrades are Zorko, Rosie, because he looks injured at the moment, even though he pulled up with a 95. Zorko definitely does look injured. And then you've got McCarthy as well, potentially upgrading him as well. So let's just go through some mock trades. There's basically 2 sets that I would consider. Is basically the McCarthy only set. Let's just run through that. And then I would hazard a guess here, probably Clark, because I need the most amount of cash. And then defenders wise, we just go down to the 230 club and grab up a low defender. We'll just use Oscar Adams for a sort of template, and then we will adjust. But we get this, and then I can basically trade them in for whoever I want. If I just go to, if I just do this, and then Oscar Adams needs to go into this spot here, I think. And then I can effectively trade in a 944k or a below player of any magnitude, I would say, or however you want to put it. So that would, and this would work anyway for anything, because I can move Sinclair around, etc., or Parker around, so I can get any position that I want, except for obviously a ruckman. So as you can see here, if we go to players I can afford, last 3, there isn't really anyone that I particularly like. You've got Dylan Moore playing Adelaide. That'll be a tough matchup, I believe. If we just go to the high half forwards for Adelaide in this, we'll go defense first position. And then we go last 10 for general forward, and we go down here. Adelaide are a -5. Adelaide are minus across the board, other than the general defenders in the last 10 weeks in AFL Fantasy points against. If we go to general forwards in the last 5 weeks, Adelaide are negative across the board, again, other than general defenders, where they're plus 1.19. And that is mainly because of the Melbourne matchup, that if you take out the Melbourne game, they are well below in the last 5 weeks. So yeah, that one matchup basically where they stuffed it in terms of giving away a little bit of points. So yeah, so having said all that, we keep on going down a little bit and just checking some other guys here, and you'll see that maybe Manor is the next guy that we could consider. He's got Port Adelaide. He actually has some juicy matchups. Port Adelaide, Essendon, Sydney, and Richmond. If we go to, he would be classified as a general forward. He's got Port Adelaide where they're +2. Then he has, he's got Essendon where they're going to be plus. You would hazard a guess. Surely they're plus. They're -2.9 in the last 5. Joel Frazier is classified as a general forward in that game. Don't know how. Okay, it is what it is. And then they've got Sydney who give up +5. Where they've given up big scores to Corey Wagner's class. I don't get this. I'm just going to disregard this general forward statistic here. Sean Manners probably will get some potential midfield minutes, let's just say, as well. So, yeah, will be interesting with him in the next 4 matchups, because he could be one to go to. I think also Jesse Cameron would fit under this statistic, I believe. Yes, he would. So you could look at Jesse Cameron as well. Did he play Port Adelaide early this year and kick 7? So I could potentially go down that route and go from the McCarthy to the Jesse Cameron, which I don't even know if that's much of an upgrade, to be honest with you. But that is a route that I can go down. I'm just also just seeing, because McCarthy is 648k, and I'd have an extra 130k spare, 130 or so k spare to go down the route of getting in Jesse Cameron if I wanted to keep McCarthy. And basically the difference was, if I had done this smartly, I'm pretty sure it would have worked out near enough. I'm pretty sure might be just a little bit short, is if I had done Zach Johnson out the week before and kept Harry Ralston. That would have enabled me, I think, to get Jeremy Cameron, or get awfully close to Jeremy Cameron off of 2 rookies, which would have been a massive play. But yeah, could do Jeremy Cameron, but we will wait and see. And then the one that I am considering, because he is just so out of nick at the moment and has a 139 break even against Port Adelaide, is going the Dane Zorko. And the one thing I can do, if I do this, and then I move, say, a Sinclair into the back line here, is going and grabbing up. I'd have 1.66 million. If I was to do something of this regard here, and then move, say, a Petrarca into here, I could grab up a Cameron. If we just go to forwards, grab up a Cameron, have 850k for any position that I like, and that would potentially give Baker, potentially give all these guys. Joel Jeffries had a pretty good game, but not really regularly. Neil, don't really want to go there, etc. Let's see last 3 if there's any in the 850k range that I can grab up. Veloston, Curtin, Manor. Could go Manor again and go the double Geelong forwards and just say that that's going to be decent, etc. But yeah, it is really just trying to, I guess, find a way to upgrade out of not much, because yeah, I don't really have the cash to be able to, I would say. Harley Reid's out for the year anyway. Liam Baker, what's he done the last couple? That's just not appealing at all. Cripper looks checked out for the year. Can't even go the likes of a Dylan Moore. If we go to Stat Center, and I'm going to just see what other people are sort of trading in as well, and then we will get to see captaincy and vice captaincy. If we go to Coach's Choice, we go to ins. Lockie Whitfield is a massive in for most people this week. Jeremy Cameron, Banch is an in for most people. Alex Davies, how long is Tuka Miller on the injury list for? Gold Coast Suns. Let's go to their website and go to their injury list, teams, fans club, etc. Where is their injury list? Maybe it's down here somewhere. Q-Stand update here. Both Tuke Miller and will train hopefully, and we expect them to put their hand up for selection. That's not a good sign for the likes of Alex Davies, even though he had a really good game, because the role could just be really reduced, I would say. Hayden Young at 750k. He could actually be a really good just point of difference player. He scored 98 against West Coast Eagles and 57% time on ground. That might actually be the option to go down with the likes of all that. And then if we go to here and we go to Young and go, yep, he's a decent enough guy, because his stats are just massively out of whack, I would say. If we look at the scoring, etc., that would give me 100k spare. So yeah, that's potentially an option that I go down. Doing that and upgrading there. It does seem very, very sideways trading. So maybe if I do actually hold on to someone like a McCarthy, maybe, you know what I actually can do? I think this will work, and it might actually be the best option just thinking about it now. I've just done the maths quickly in my head, and you do not know how much this just works so well. Yes, it does mean that I need to grab a defender rookie, which does suck a little bit. But the best part about it, if I go to the prices and then I go to if I just let me just grab up quickly the Hayden Young and grab him in. You'll see 230k, and then we go defenders, players that I can afford, and then we go back here. There's basically no one. I could go Nguyen, who I don't think will score too well, but he's going to debut against Sydney, which will give us at least a player. I don't know about his junior scores. If we just go to, it'll have it in here, I think. He's at least it'll have at least his VFL games, I should say. But if we go to NG, whoopsie, I have it in Greek still for some reason. There we go, Nguyen. And we go here and you look at that 2025, he had Essendon VFL. He had 9 games for 56, and in 2024, he had 1 game for 67. So that's all right-ish. Might only average 40, might not do anything, but yeah, I think that's a way forward for us to grab up everything. Oscar Adams might play. I don't think he will, because we've seen him basically do nothing in full games. So there's that. I think also if we do see a debut, I probably will switch it. Like if we see a Paddy Snell debut, I probably will switch to him, given they've got Essendon and he could absolutely just rack it up behind the ball, and we expect him to debut. I don't know if there'll be anyone else. So this will probably be Nguyen here, just because that fits there. I get an extra sort of non-premium. I would guess McCarthy, and I can play off McCarthy and the likes of, because McCarthy plays early. Boxall, when did Carlton play? Carlton played last. So that is absolutely perfect, because I can do this here. And basically, I play off of whoever scores. If I'm happy with McCarthy's score or not, I can play off of that. And then it really starts to get me that sort of 23rd player, etc. there. And then next week, we have to upgrade somehow Teakle, which might not work. Maybe Teakle and McCarthy next week to a premium mid. And suddenly I've got maybe not the best bench depth. I've only had 22 guys, but I've suddenly got that extra premium. I've got more premiums and less rookies, and that Hayden Young is suddenly my worst or lowest ranked player, you would almost say. And I've got the likes of Teakle and McCarthy can easily, I would think, with 508k and 648k, and you would expect, let's just run some numbers here quickly between McCarthy and the likes of Fantasy Price Projector, McCarthy and the likes of Teakle. Yes, they're annoyingly in different positions, but if we go to McCarthy here and we go, he's going to score, let's just go a mid-80, so that's 24k. 24k plus Teakle, who maybe let's just add an 80 for him. Teakle, an 80, so 24 plus 61 is another 85k. If we go back here, don't need that tab anymore. 85k plus Teakle of 508k, so 85 plus 508 plus 648 is 1,241,000, and then that will enable me most likely to get someone like an Errol Goulden potentially, or someone, if we go to all players, if we actually go back now to this and go, not that one, not that tab. If we go back to this and go to the coach's choice, because a lot of people will be trading in guys like this, Matt Rowell won't be in our price zone, but you'll have guys like, let's just see, is Noah Anderson around the mark? Noah Anderson could potentially, if all things go right, be around about the marker that we want. Obviously, against Richmond, he's going to outdo that, and then comes up against Carlton, GWS, and Port, so he's probably going to be out of our range. But then you've got guys like Max Holmes is probably going to be out of our range as well, but only just. Josh Dunkley as well is in and around that range, probably just outside of it. Errol Goulden, as we said, 1.023, he's probably going to be just in and around that range as well. But you've got plenty of guys there. I should have just done, 900k plus. This is probably going to start to simplify it a little bit more. Luke Jackson in and around that range is definitely gettable, which will definitely beef up the forward line, as well as he would then come up against the likes of Port Adelaide, who, yeah, I could see him doing all right there. Jordan Dawson is out in and around that range. He's also got Hawthorn, but then he'd go into the West Coast matchup, so you could see that happening as well. So yeah, we just need a really good game from Teakle. If Teakle can have a really, really good game, him and McCarthy combined have really good games, then we are looking at getting them in getting them out, for a Jordan Dawson, and then suddenly the side looks so much stronger. Like if we basically look at this and we go, in theory, if we do, how am I going to actually do this? Let's just think of this. Let's just go something of this regard here, and then go Luke Parker in here, and then Tico, etc. Basically, if you think about it, let's just do the swapping around these guys. If we think about it, that's going to be that. Yes, there we go. And then we do something of this regard. Basically replace Tom McCarthy and then Tico in this utility for a rookie that's going to debut, and then replace him with Jordan Dawson, and suddenly this side looks a lot more healthy. And then I can just upgrade a Luke Parker, upgrade a Zorko, who will probably need to be upgraded at that point through like a box short or something, which is possible. And then, yeah, so that'll be basically what we do for the rest of the year, and try and get like Holmes in for a Zorko. And suddenly my team looked a lot better. But yeah, I really like that, being able to scrounge out that Hayden Young trade, because I think he's really shown in the last couple of weeks that his numbers are better. And I have a feeling that he will be able to, I know he kicked 3 goals in limited time on ground, but he looked really good in the time that he was there. And so I think that is just the perfect play for me at the moment, to be able to hope for a week that Zorko is able to get back to his best, but I don't think he will. And yeah, maybe I have to take it on the chin, I guess, the Zorko potentially, but this is to get that, to basically restructure a little bit. So now on to VCs and Cs. If I put Marshall back on field here for the sake of it, even though I can actually just run that off anyway, because that can be my loophole, I'm pretty sure, because they play on, when do they play? They play on the Sunday. Okay, so we don't know who Grundy's going to go against, but I think that's a solid VC on the Saturday, especially because it's supposed to be pouring down with rain. It's currently not raining in Sydney, which is surprising, but we're supposed to, like, Sydney rain. If I actually go to Sydney weather here, look at this, and you'll see they play on the Saturday here, and just look at this lead up weather as well. So it's currently not raining, but it's pretty much going to rain for the foreseeable future. So there, I think the Grundy VC is on. And then the captaincy option, who does the likes of, you've got the Saturday night, you've got Collingwood playing against Brisbane. Don't really like that. You do have Bailey Smith, who could potentially be a VC option there. A captaincy option. I'm not going to go any of the Western Bulldogs boys. When do St Kilda play? They play North Melbourne at 1. There we go. Job done. Job sorted. That was easy. Wangani Malira, captaincy. That's just simple. You put your two of the highest scoring players in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks of 127s, 128s, etc. Basically, the 2 top players in form in the comp. If we actually look at the 3-round average, outside of the likes of Bontempelli and, well, Nick Dacos itself, putting 2 of the top 6 players that in the comp for last 3-round average, who both have really positive matchups, is probably the best way to go. If we just look at this quietly here, get rid of price predictor and go back to that, to the defense first position, and then go to ruck line. The last 10 weeks, you got the best ruck matchup and the best positive differential matchup in the game, I'm pretty sure, except for designated kickers for Essendon. Designated kickers and Richmond designated kickers. But they are the 2 best, that is the best matchup. You've also got West Coast Eagles inside mids. But yeah, that is one of the best matchups in the last 10 games. And then if we go last 5 games, it gets a little bit worse. It actually gets -5. I wonder why. That's because you've got, etc. I'm not too worried about that, to be honest with you, against that. And we'll see what happens there. But yeah, definitely going to go that Brady Grundy, because he hasn't dropped realistically a poor score since, when did we say? He hasn't dropped almost a non-VC score that I would almost take until round 8. I'd pretty much almost take a 111 at this point. given the spread of how things are going, almost. But like his lowest scores are 111, 113, 115 in the last like 10 weeks, 11 weeks. So yeah, definitely a guy that I would be seeing if you had him, because that matchup is really good, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go Visentini in the ruck there. But that is the video there going through my AFL Fantasy team reveal for round 21. We went through the set of trades. I was going to show that Zorko trade, etc., and going to like a Max Holmes and someone else. Like I could potentially go the Zorko and McCarthy to and I just want to double check if I can actually do that, because if I can do that, which I don't think I can, because yeah, just off the top of my head, McCarthy 650k, Zorko was 970k. If I wanted to get to Holmes, I'd need 100k, but I also need 100k to go from McCarthy to to Hayden Young, which doesn't work because I only have 40k in the bank. So yeah, that doesn't work, so can't do that trade. Would need to go down from Zorko, and I don't really like any of the players. I'd probably need to go down to a 900k player, and I don't think there is anyone in the 900k range that I really like, to be honest with you. If I just quickly check that for you guys there, I don't think there's anyone here that I like the look of at just 900k on the dot. Like Graham Myers might even be too expensive, and I don't think there's anyone really that I can do it, but I might fiddle around with it and update you on Twitter if I can find anything. But if you did enjoy that, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you guys back here for the tips for round 21 in a little bit. Bye guys.